What have I been playing? I'm just gonna cut to the chase, and not to be redundant or anything. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, just like half of the population, half of the gaming population. I'm really enjoying this game. I am, as you know, a sort of a Dark Souls newbie. I did play Dark Souls 1 and I played Dark Souls 3 a couple of months ago, and a couple of years ago actually I started kind of like delving into Dark Souls, the Soulsborne's game, and to be honest, I didn't like them. I didn't like them mostly because obviously the difficulty, and I feel like just the linearity of how those games were designed. If you were to encounter a main boss that is extremely difficult, it's proven to be difficult, you're kind of stuck at a standstill. And Elden Ring, I think that's one of the biggest pros about Elden Ring. It makes it so you can enjoy the Souls experience without being limited by the Souls experience, if that makes any sense. I'll tell you what, this game made me want to replay Breath of the Wild, but I mean that in a very good sense. There hasn't been a game that made me feel that sense of wonder and exploration ever since Breath of the Wild back in 2017. And I know that the comparisons between Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild are cliche at best right now, at worst, I should say. But to be honest, like it's a game that draws a lot from Breath of the Wild, and I like it. It draws from it and it builds upon it. I'm not saying that it's copying, I'm saying that it's building upon it. And Elden Ring is an astronomically good game. It is one of the best games I played in a long time. Straight up. I don't know how else to say. I'm not hyping it up just to hype it up. I'm not a Souls fan. I'm not a diehard Souls fan. And I'm fucking loving this game. Like, Jesus Christ. Elden Ring just brings back that wonder that I've been missing from my life as far as open world games. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the game, specifically with UX design, UI design, quests design. But to be honest, all of those complaints, kick them in the burner, because if you know where they're coming from, they're the least qualified people to be giving these criticisms to From Software. But first off, pros about this game: the difficulty. Like I said, when you experience a difficult boss in previous Dark Souls games or Soulsborne's games, you were kind of stuck because the game was designed in a sort of linear dungeon fashion that you had to beat that certain boss to progress the story or progress in the dungeon or whatsoever. No longer is that the case here. Yes, it is a difficult game. Elden Ring still is a Dark Souls game. It is a Souls-like game. It is going to be difficult. There's something that one of my friends online, one of my online friends, shout out to Ed. What the fuck, it's Ed. Well, WTF, it's Ed. I don't know how he says it, but shout out to him. Make sure to follow him on Twitch. He said, yo, this is a Souls game. Be prepared to fail. It's okay to fail. You're going to fail. And I feel there's a disconnect between people who have been giving it a lot of criticism, Elden Ring a lot of criticism. I think it stems from them just not having a lot of patience. Now, I'm not going to delve too much into the accessibility discussion because obviously I think anyone should be able to play games, pick up and play games. But have we forgotten about Super Mario? Have we forgotten about the first Zelda? Have we forgotten how those games were designed to kick your ass? Those were hard games. Those were challenging games. Half of the fun about difficult games is getting over the challenge. And Elden Ring makes that so accessible. No longer you have to be forced to fight a certain enemy if that enemy keeps killing you over and over and over again. You can turn around, you can run past it, and you can level up. That is it. That is all there is to this game. Of course, there is some skill behind it, dodging and whatnot. There's a little bit of a real-time strategy element to it, and like you got to really pick and choose what kind of attacks you're going to use. If this certain, for example, this certain boss has a rock skin, you got to choose the perfect weapon for that type of skin, etc., etc. So there is sort of a challenge to the game, but it's not as unforgiving as it was in past games. I don't think it is. I'm a total idiot when it comes to these sort of games. I dropped all the Souls games because they were just too difficult for me and I wasn't enjoying them. this is the first Souls games where I'm like, yo, I can't wait to play. Like right now, I wish I was playing. Honestly, I wish I was playing right now instead of recording this video. Yeah, difficulty is way more accessible than it has been in previous games. I will say that. And the game makes it so easy for you to level up and come back. There's no linearity to the game. It's go as you please. If you want to go to the far left side of the map and level up killing goats, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to go to the far east side of the game, of the map, you know, shout out to Kaylit. Hey, that's up to you. You're going to get your ass kicked, but hey, it'll give you more runes that you can level up and it's going to be great. So yes, difficulty is a lot more accessible in that way. Now, exploration. Jesus Christ, man. I love open world games that just put you on the map and say, go explore. That's why I love Breath of the Wild. That's why I love Elden Ring. Elden Ring literally opens you up and says, hey, go ahead and do whatever you want. You can go, if you want to go to the far stretches of this map, go ahead and do it. You're going to get your ass kicked, but you can go ahead and do it. So exploration just feels so natural and it feels so exciting. Like finding yourself, you know, just randomly, accidentally stumbling into a dungeon, stumbling into a castle and figuring out that that's a dungeon in itself and that there's bosses in it. There's all kinds of different enemies. Yo, the enemy designs in these games, I'll talk about it a little bit more, are amazing. Just Jesus Christ. Everything in this game, as far as character wise, as far as just art styles, it's just amazing. In my opinion, it is a beautiful game in that sense. But just the exploration is very well rewarded. That sense of wonder that Breath of the Wild made me feel is back in this game. Why? Because it doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't tell you where to go next. It doesn't tell you where the next dungeon is. There is nothing pointing you in that direction. The only thing that points you to where you know, the general direction you should be heading into are the sites of grace. The sites of grace emit this sort of like, I don't know what to call it. It's kind of like a gassy light. I know that sounds kind of weird, but they kind of direct you where you have to go next. And they usually direct you to the closest next area of interest that you should definitely check out. But besides that, it's just, you know, go ahead and, hey, if you want to go up that mountain, you can go ahead and go do it. That's another thing I want to talk about. Exploration. It's not all roses. It's, you know, it has its issues. Environments are some of the best I've ever seen in an open world game. Every single detail in this game is beautiful. Every single detail in the environments is beautiful. The castle's architecture, the weapons, the dungeons, everything feels so rich and so well thought out by the developers that I'm just like, I've had to stop and look around myself a few times because I'm like, hey, did you see how well crafted these stone pillars are? Hey, did you see how amazingly beautiful that castle in the distance looks? You can tell there's very much details in the statues, in the gargoyles in that castle. It's just beautiful. It's amazing, the environments in this game. The environments in the dungeons, they all make you feel like this sense of dread. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. Sound design, off the rip, one of the best sound design games I've ever had the pleasure of playing. Beautiful all around. Enemy designs are some of the greatest things about Souls games, and this game does not disappoint. Jesus, just a slight spoiler, not really. This is more of a common enemy, but I remember walking up to a kind of woodsy area at the bottom of a kind of like a stone pillar, and I kept hearing this song like playing. It was of a woman vocalizing, a woman kind of singing a very enchanting song, and I was like, "Yo, this is kind of beautiful. Is this a friend? Should I approach this woodsy area?" And of course, there was a few enemies on there. They're kind of like huge bats. I killed them off, and then the song stops, and what comes out of the woods is a bat with the head of an old woman. I was like, yo, what the hell is going on? I was impressed. I was like, yo, okay, wow, this is an extremely fantastical world that I'm in, and I'm scared as hell. the enemy designs, the boss designs. I won't go too much into the lore because a lot of it is very confusing. That's how Souls games are, to me at least. I don't have the brain capacity to understand the lore, but the boss designs are amazing. Just simple mobs are amazingly designed. The trolls, even that you experience in the early game, it just has left me in awe. It just left me in awe. And I remember just being so, shout out to this big word, flabbergasted, just experiencing the first troll under jump on top of me from a big ass bridge. I was like, okay, I'm in for a treat in this game. So yeah, design as far as style, art styles, enemy character design is just amazing. It's beautiful. Multiplayer, you know, regardless of some of the gripes that I have from a technical standpoint, which I'll talk about a little bit further ahead, it's a very fun experience playing this game with friends. Exploring feels exciting, and even though the boss fights are a little bit less challenging, they do have more health, the bosses, when you're playing multiplayer, but still they're a little less challenging in my opinion. They're not less rewarding because, hey, you're having fun with your friends killing a king or a beast with like 16 horns. That's not a spoiler. I'm being vague as hell. But just whenever you beat a big boss with your friends, it feels so rewarding. It feels so exciting. It doesn't take away from the experience. It's just amazing to me. It's beautiful. I love playing co-op. It's mostly how I've been playing Elden Ring, to be honest. I've beaten a couple of the bosses by myself, but I'm gonna be honest, if I wasn't playing with a level 90 and a level, God, what is he? I don't remember what Pat is. I think he's like 80. I think he's around 80. If I wasn't playing with those two dudes, I would not be so far into the game. I would probably still be stuck in the first boss. And I might have quit the game at that point, or I would have just probably kept grinding, to be honest. But that are basically some of the more pros, just based off first impressions. I might do a full-on review of Elden Ring, of course, with more talking about more of the positives, but this is just first impressions, first thoughts as far as pros. Now, cons: exploration. I know I put it in the pros list, but there is a lot of issues that I have with exploration in this game. Climbing. Actually, I don't have a lot. It's just that one. Climbing. Why is climbing so restrictive? Climbing can sometimes make the exploration feel very limited. There's no verticality, and I tweeted about this saying that one thing that I will give Breath of the Wild over Elden Ring as far as exploration goes is the verticality. In Breath of the Wild, you can climb any and everything that you see is climbable. There is nothing out of your reach. In Elden Ring, if there's no stepping stones, if there's no tombstones sticking out of the mountain, there's no way you're gonna climb that thing. So it just feels very restrictive in that sense. And I think if the developers would have just added some sort of climbing mechanic in that sense, added a stamina bar. There is already a stamina bar actually. But if they were to just like connected those two things, I think it would have been a 10 out of 10 as far as exploration goes, in my opinion. Now, multiplayer. Multiplayer is one of the biggest gripes I have with this game. Even though I said it is one of the most fun co-op experiences I've ever had, it is the most annoying thing to join a multiplayer session. Having to put down your sign on the floor, or having you to use a craft an item and use it for you to be able to see the multiplayer, the summon signs on the floor of your friends or of strangers, is a little bit annoying. It's a little bit restrictive. Why won't you just let me join my friends in their worlds at the click of a button? If they're online, I should be able to join them automatically. It is a little bit restrictive. It also sucks that every time you die or every time you beat a boss, you have to, you get disconnected and you have to reconnect the session, join the session. So it is a little bit restrictive. It's a little bit dumb. I will say also not being able to use your mount, not being able to sit at a campfire, a site of grace, and mess around with your equipment, mess around with your armor. It just puts a lot of has you put a lot of thought before you actually join a session, saying like, hey, we're gonna fight this area, we're gonna be in this area, I might have to use this sort of armor, this sort of attack weapon, etc., etc. So I don't know. It just feels restricted because I mean, this is a world you're exploring for the first time with your friends. You don't know what's coming up, so you can't really prepare yourself before joining a session at the site of grace for what's coming because you don't know. You're exploring the game with your friends. They should give you the liberty for you to change your armor, sit in a site of grace, and just mess around with your equipment. That's all in my opinion. Besides that, as a conclusion, I think Elden Ring is game of the year. I think if Breath of the Wild 2 doesn't come out, I think even if Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, I don't think it will be. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it is as innovative as Elden Ring is. But it's gonna be hard. Elden Ring is a top-notch game. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's captivated me. It's made me into a Souls game fan. Something I never thought I'd become. I don't know. I might have to look into Bloodborne. I might have to look into Sekiro, to all those games. But hey, me, a Nintendo noob, a person who loves easy games, has fell in love with Elden Ring. That sort of has to tell you something. But yeah, if you haven't played Elden Ring, I recommend you go buy it. It's only $50. I got it at $50 on PS5 at Walmart. So come on, it's cheaper than a AAA game that came out a few weeks before Elden Ring, which I'm not going to talk about. A little bit of shade. I don't care. Okay.